Hello YouTube, GreatRJ1 here, and today I'm doing my concept video on Mace Windu in Battlefront 2. Now do keep in mind, this is just a concept, it's not actually confirmed, let alone the game's not actually getting any more updates. So this is just simply a concept, an idea I had, so let's get into it, shall we? So the two of his abilities are quite similar, but to be fair, I was having trouble thinking of abilities for him, and unless I do Shatterpoint, which I do not know how to actually make work in the game. So yeah, so I'd have Mace Windu and have his health at about 800, or at least have him at basically 750. I think 800 was sort of suit the play style he has, and I think that's a pretty average and good spot for him. So that's his health. His health recovery, just to keep things balanced, he will have a 260 health recovery. Health recovery delay, it will be about another 3 seconds. I feel like 3 seconds should be the health recovery delay for heroes that are going to be quite powerful. So his strength will be similar to like Anakin, but not crazy overpowered like Vader. Just about how tanky Anakin is, and he's pretty much the best light side 1v1er, in my opinion. Anyway, let's get back into the concepts then. Now, Windu is a master of Ataru. Not Ataru, of Vapods, and Vapods, or how, I think it was Vapods, wasn't it? And basically, this was a lightsaber form that mixes the lightsaber form and Julio, and basically this deflects dark side energy. Now I feel like his attacks would be similar to Anakin's, at least in swing speed. Anakin's attacks are pretty fast by themselves, and I feel like having Windu be about the same speed and have the same basically swing speed as Anakin is pretty balanced, and I think this would suit him quite well. So he'd be able to swing for at least 15 swings. Lightsaber blocking stamina, I'd probably say would be about 14. He's more aggressive, and I want to sort of reflect that in his stamina. And for his blaster bolts blocking stamina, I'll give him about 19, as most of the time he is also blocking blaster bolts. That's basically true for every hero. So, but at least every light side hero in the prequels. Anyway, his damage output would be about 160 from the front and 210 from the back on all classes. Usually it'll just be all classes. On mine, not usually, certain classes. So yeah, anyway, let's get back to the video. Now, his left ability would be called counter attacks. This would just make him counter all attacks thrown at him from the front. Now he can get attacked from the back and sides, so do keep that in mind. He's not completely invincible, but he blocks and basically deflects half of the damage back at his enemies, and he will not give off the effects of the damage, but they will receive half of the damage they would have dealt to Windu if he actually had the damage dealt to him. So that you could say they have a bit of damage reduction. So yeah, that would just be counter attack. I feel like that would work quite well with his lightsaber form. His middle ability would sort of be like another Dooku's duelist, but it would be pretty different. This ability would actually be called Vapard, and this would basically just make it so any force abilities sent at him will not affect him and you will not get damaged by them. And instead the enemy will have the full damage of it reflected back at them. Now keeping him on the counter attack will only last about 5 seconds, and this does only increase the stamina by a little. By a little, it will have 5 extra stamina on each of his stamina values. So do keep that in mind. Anyway, for spawn kill of these droids, he would also get 60% damage reduction in Vapad. Well, actually 50%. I feel like 60% would be a bit much for how powerful he already is. And this would basically just be, and this would be the next part for his Vapad. Now, his final ability will be called Heavy Strike. Basically, this performs a unblockable attack which receives a very powerful blow. You know the attack he did when he, got Django in the Geonos in the Geonosis arena? That would be the move he'd pull off there. Basically another version of Anakin's Passionate Strike, but it doesn't do 2 hits, and it actually does it all in one. So the damage will be about 300 to all heroes, well, to all reinforcements and heroes, and 200 to all infantry. So he can take away half of Boba's health immediately if Boba does not get hit by it. Now actually it would basically just be a side strike, so nothing too different from Anakin's ability really. No idea that there was. No, I did have an idea that there was someone there, but I did not realise it. Someone had got killed too late then. So what do you think of Mace Windu so far? So the counter attack, this is not too powerful. He can still get hit. And really, if I remember correctly, I did not give him any damage reduction. This one would have about a 10-second cooldown. I feel like that's pretty reasonable. For his middle ability, Vapad, I feel like this should have quite a long cooldown, probably 25 seconds. I feel like that's pretty good for him. And then the Heavy Strike, this one will be having a 15-second cooldown. So the counter attack basically is Vapad until Vapad is able to be used, basically. So yeah, so we can get into his, I'm really zooming through these right now, aren't I? So we can get into his star cards. So yeah, I'll just get rid of this batch of enemies right now. Actually, I'll try and get a 100 kill streak, because I'm at 94 right now. And at a 100 kill streak in arcade, of course. I'm 101. Anyway, let's get into his star cards. And I feel like I did give Ventress the ability star cards. I'll probably just keep that exclusive to her. Feel like it would be a much better option. And I'll only give it and I'll only do anything like that again if I feel like she should only have 3 abilities, but she deserves a 4th. So, with that, we can get over to getting over to the star cards. So yeah. Right. So we're getting back to the menus. Change that real quick. So, Mace Windu is already quite powerful, having basically all 3 of his abilities being block breakers. Now, really, he's pretty powerful, and that he can only block break certain things on certain abilities, but I still feel like it's really good. And do keep in mind, if you're being Palpatine and you're zapping Windu while he has fate pads active, all the lightning damage you actually would have been dealing to Windu, you'll be dealing to yourself, basically. And you'll basically be damaging yourself until it ends. Now, the vape pads duration will be about 10 seconds. Counter attack will be about 5. So I already went over their cooldowns. So the first star card slot would be, I don't know. I'm just probably going to stop naming the cards and only name them if I think they deserve it. And I'll just go over to what they are. So this star card would decrease the amount of time on their recharge on all the abilities. So we had a 25 second, a 10 second and a 20 second cooldown on the abilities, didn't we? I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And this would just go from 2 seconds to 3 to 4 to 5. You already know what it is. So this just shaves off 5 seconds, meaning the vape has ability, it has 20 seconds before it can get reused again. Now the next one would be the Master of Vape Pads, and basically this would give him this would just increase his lightsaber damage by 10, but but its health regeneration delay is longer. Now the longer it will be, now it has the same delay, it has 3 seconds delay, so this would go from 5 seconds to 4 seconds, go from 7 seconds, that's max, so he has to wait about nearly 10 seconds just to begin regenerating his health. This would eventually go to 6, then it would head to 5, and then 4. If not, it would begin at 6 and return back to 3. But really, this is not too much of a big deal. But if you're being quite reckless with him and you often find yourself needing to regen your health a lot, then this is probably not the star card for you. Now this one would basically I actually don't know what this star cards would do, because I didn't give him many abilities. Oh, I know. This would increase the amount of time his counter attack lasts for. Now this would increase from 1 second, 2 to 3 to 4, so he has it active for 9 seconds, which is nearly the amount of time of his vape pad ability. Now the next one would be controlling the dark side, and what this would do would shorten the cooldown on the vape pads. This would shorten it from This is shortened from 1 second to 2 to 3 to 4. And then if you have this star card that decreases all its ability cooldowns, this shaves off 8 seconds, giving vape pads a a 12-second cooldown. So he has a pretty fast cooldown after that. Next, this would give him damage reduction. Now for how tanky he is, it's only going to be quite small. So this would go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. You already know it. I'm probably just going to speed through it if it's 1, then 2, then 3 and 4, or 2, 3, 4, 5. If it's basically at a low level, I'm just going to go to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, basically just making it all fast, and I can get onto the next card. Now the next card, this would decrease the recharge of heavy strike. This would decrease it from 1 second, well, from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. So it had a 15-second cooldown, didn't it? So it'd have a 7-second cooldown with this ability, with this star card on. Now I feel like that would be a bit overpowered, so I would probably lower it over to probably 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, basically just giving it a 5-second reduction, making it having a 10-second cooldown. I feel like that's more useful and more balanced as well. Not more useful, but more balanced. Next would be for these a counter attack. For this, the Mace Windu would get a bit of damage reduction while the ability is active. This damage reduction would basically be from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, or from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. I feel like 2 to 3 to 2 to 4 to 5 I think should be the better option. His last 2 cards will be vape pads channeling or something like that, and this one would increase the stamina from 12 on the first rank. It would go to basically 13, then 14, 16 and then 18, so getting 18 on all its values on stamina. They'll basically increasing it a lot. And then for this one, it's basically just this one would just, oh, I don't know. I'm running out of ideas really. I actually do not know what I actually have this one as. I'll probably just give it health regeneration delays shortened. So this would just make his health regen delay a quick bit faster. So this would go from 1 second to 1.5, 1.9 and then to 2 seconds, basically giving him a 1 second delay. Actually, I'll just make it so it goes from 0.1 to 0.5 to 0.9 to 1 second. So with the even card that puts it on, it will basically still put you at 2 seconds until it gets to regen. It's very small, but it can be a bit useful. So let's get on to the cards that would be the most useful for hero modes and trooper modes, shall we? As usual, we'll begin with the hero modes. The ability recharging, the middle ability recharge time, and the extra stamina. For trooper modes, basically you want the same basically you nearly want the same loadout. Now vape pad's not really going to benefit you a lot in that mode apart from damage reduction, so you'll basically want the decreased cards, the cards that decreases the ability cooldowns, the stamina card and the damage reduction card. These are probably the most useful cards for him. So let's get into the appearances, shall we? So he'd have the Jedi Master appearance. This will give him his Jedi robes. Yeah, he does begin with the Jedi robes appearance. I feel like this should always be the beginning appearance for a hero for some reason. Next up will be, I don't know, his uncloaked appearance. This would just be him in his normal Jedi tunic. And next up would be General Windu. This would basically give him the uncloaked or Jedi tunic, whatever appearance you want to call it, appearance, but he'd have the armour on the arms like he does in the Clone Wars. Emotes, not really too many emotes apart from take a seat and this party's over. I feel like those are the only emotes that are really needed that much, and probably I'm going to end this once and for all. I feel like those emotes are probably going to be the best. Most of the emotes probably would just be more like banters, so yeah. And I know the past couple videos has been, I don't know how I'm going to perform it's basically been, I don't know how I'm going to perform the basically thumbnail, and to be fair, I'm more clueless on this than before. I feel like I might use Finn's model, like at least Finn's head, and then swap it over to probably Anakin or Obi-Wan. Yeah, I'll probably do it to Anakin, and then basically make Anakin's robes a bit browner. Might actually do it to Obi-Wan, I do not know, I'll probably do it to the one that seems the easiest, and then I can basically just complete it from there. And really, two of my thumbnails for the videos are literally just a Rey model that has just been recolored to be Adventurous or Ahsoka, and they're just in the same victory pose, the Awakened victory pose. This is the victory pose used for it. So yeah, anyways, what do you think of this? Let me know in the comments below. So, and do you think he would be a fun hero if he was ever to get added based off my concept? I feel like he'd be a fun hero, probably a bit too powerful, but keep in mind that these heroes are meant to be going up against my version of the heroes as well, so I will eventually get around to all the heroes. I've already done one for Palpatine. I'm hoping to do Boba Fett next on the hero remakes, basically, so who knows. Might even do Yoda or Dooku next, who knows. But next shall either be Pre Vizsla, or Jango Fett. I feel like I might do Jango next. I feel like it would be a bit easier to do because, well, yeah, I feel, because I'm having trouble thinking of Pre Vizsla for his third ability maybe. I am having trouble with Jango, trying to keep him unique and not too much like Boba and my Mando concept. So, yeah. Anyway, that will be it for today's video, and see you guys next time. Bye. Well, for today's concept video at least. Bye.